Hi guys, welcome back for another video. I'm Jess and I'm one of the creative designers here at Sizzix. Today I am going to make a handful of projects all surrounding kind of holidays, memory keeping, vacations. So when you come back from your holiday, you've got all these lovely memories and things and you want to kind of commemorate them, and that's what I'm going to show you guys how to do today. And I'm going to use the gorgeous Sizzix Summer collection. Now I've just got a handful of the dies here. And if you've watched Pete's overview of our gorgeous summer collection, you'll know that it's kind of split into two. We've got flowers and then we've got more under the sea nautical theme. And I'm going to go for the under the sea kind of theming to match my vacation vibes. So you can probably tell just off the side to my right, I've got a mixture of different projects that I'm going to show you, and the techniques are all going to mesh into one almost, but they're all going to be using the same kind of similar dies, stamp sets, stencils, and I'm going to show you some fun techniques. So yeah, let's get started. Okay, so to start with, I'm thinking let's do die cutting. We'll do all that fun stuff kind of first, and then we'll get into like the stamping elements. Now for die cutting, I was thinking we've got some gorgeous like lobster, crab elements in the collection. So I want to show you guys how you can take those elements and bring in some of your holiday photos, some of your vacation photos, and create a frame or even this fun kind of globe memory jar. Now, for that, obviously, we're going to need some of those gorgeous die cuts. Now, there's a mixture of, like I said, the crabs, the lobsters, things like that. I've got my folder here. I'm going to grab some of them. So let's grab, I'll do the crab first, and we'll do our lovely little jar. And then I'll show you how to do the frame with the stenciled background, because that's always really fun. So these are quite large elements, and that's kind of what we really wanted to play on. So they're kind of really be the focus of your project, but they're still thinlits, just the same as all of our other dies. So you can cut those using your Big Shot or your Big Shot Plus or your Sidekick. For most of these, they are smaller size, so like cut into sections, even though it's kind of one large element that you build up. So your Sidekick should probably fit through most of these. And I'm going to use the Sizzix adhesive on the back of most of my cardstock, just because some of these elements are like layering elements. Some of them can be a little bit fiddly, which you can use glue for, but your adhesive is going to help. And then I've got a mixture of colours here. So these are part of the brand new cardstock, which is our summer colours. And these are gorgeous kind of holiday, summer, vacation vibes colours, and they work fabulously for those kind of shells and crabs and everything like that. So let's just get some of our elements. Now they all layer up, like I said. So you've got like your crab section, then you've got like his body and his legs and things like that. So we're just going to layer those up, and you want to think about the way that the colours are going to show through. So I'll just do a couple of them just to show you the idea. So my base piece, I'm not going to put any adhesive on, but then I'm going to think about my top pieces and then bring in that adhesive. And you just want to attach this adhesive to the back of those pieces before you die cut, because you don't want to do it after, because then it's not going to be the right shape. Okay, and once you've got all of those pieces, I haven't done them all just because that would take me quite a while, but I just want to show you the layering elements. And I've also done some extra bits like the little seaweed bits, because you want those in your kind of frame or your jar. There we go. But you don't necessarily need the adhesive on the back of those, because we're not layering those elements. So just to give you an idea, we've got that gorgeous little crab. How cute is he? And then a couple of the layering elements. So that's why these cardstock colours are perfect for this, because they're kind of all really cohesive and match really beautifully. I'm just trying to get this die cut piece out. There we go. So now is where your adhesive is going to come in handy because that's all on the back. So hopefully you can see, we're just going to peel that off. And it's got embossing elements on the kind of bigger sections like the crab or the lobster or anything like that. So you'll be able to see exactly where to line everything up. And you can just peel it off the other sections that you've done. And then just take out those little dots with a die pick, or because they're sticky, they'll literally stick to the back of my finger and just pop out by themselves. And then that can layer on top as well. Probably missed a few there, but you can kind of get the idea of that layering element and how that's going to layer up. And we've also got obviously our little seaweed sections, and they are just going to sit in front and behind our picture and our crab or our lobster, whatever you've chosen, and it's going to fill in the space. So let's just pop this to one side. And then you can kind of bring in your jar. Now I've got these like little globe jars. You don't necessarily have to use these. You could literally use a jam jar and empty it out, clean it, and then display your images that way. But you just want to make sure your images are the right size for your jar. And then you can take some sand, preferably from your holiday. You know, maybe you could take a little bit of sand from the beach if you went to the beach, and just save it and fill it to the bottom of your jar. Or you can just get sand from craft shops or hardware stores or anything like that. So don't worry too much. But you want to make sure it's enough because we're going to just place our elements in there. We're not sticking anything down. So taking your photo, I've got some nice little photos from my honeymoon. So I can literally place those in the sand, and the sand is going to grab the base of all those elements. So obviously my crab's not fully done here, but it is on this one. And you can see it kind of come to life. So just taking your tweezers and just pushing it into the sand and arranging. And what I love is these little seaweed bits. As soon as you start to place these in as well, and you can layer them up, and it really does start to come to life. And hopefully you can see from my kind of finished one, the elements all kind of layered up, and you've got some of this, I've got some of the shells and the starfish and things like that. But it's just a really cute way of gathering those images that you took on your holiday that you probably never look at again, and making something really fun and beautiful with it. And I just think they are really cute. So that's one way you can use your images and your kind of die cut pieces. Now the other one I showed you at the beginning was this frame. Now obviously we've got the seaweed elements and our big lobster, which is the other kind of set with our die cut, most of our die cuts on there. So that is from this one, and you can use different colors if you want to. But I want to show you guys how I kind of did that background element, because that is actually a stencil that is part of this collection as well. So let me grab that for you and I'll show you how I did that. So I have the stencil and stamp tool here. I've also got the stamp and spin section on there, which I'm going to show you guys a fun technique with that later. But I just want the stenciling element on here. Oh, I've got some tape on the back of that. So let's get rid of my sand, because I'm not going to need that for the time being. And I'm not doing die cutting for this small section. So once I've removed those, I'll grab my folder with all my dies in, and I've got the stencil. I've got a couple of stencils here actually. I've got the floral one as well, but I'm only going to use the, the under the sea. So it's got 4 layers, just like all of our kind of layered stencils. So you can layer those up in different ways, but I'm going to go through all of the layers. I'm going to take some white cardstock, my stencil adapter, and I'm going to start to layer that up. Now I'm going to do it pretty basic. Let me grab layer 1, there we go, layer 1. I'm going to do it pretty basic from layers 1 to 3, and I'm literally just going to use Distress ink for the first few layers, working from a light blue to kind of a darker blue. But when we come to the last layer, which is kind of these little dot sections, I'm going to show you guys a fun technique. So let's get all of these 3 layers done, and then we'll move to the last layer. Okay, so I've done the first 3 layers, and it should end up like something like that. I've done it pretty quickly, so take more time than I have. But you can see the 3 layers is starting to look like those gorgeous waves. But now on my last layer, I want to create a little bit of texture. So I'm going to take my 4th layer, which is these lovely little dots, and then you've got some sweeps in there as well. And then all you want to do is I'm going to take some of our creamy acrylic paint. This is the Arctic Sky colour, and I'm just going to use the rest of my paper for this, and I'm going to use the palette knife from our effects tool set, and we're just going to drag that paint through that stencil. And it's perfectly fine to do this with your stencils. The only thing I say to do is, if you're doing this, is wash it pretty much straight after. Yeah, you don't want the paint to set and dry on your stencil, because then it might be difficult to move. You probably see that my stencil is well loved because I have not washed it properly after every go, and that is what happens. So just to pre-warn you, if you're using the paints or this kind of technique, just wash it after. So you just want to take it all through that section. Like, I'm not applying loads of paint, but like, you want enough that it's like pushed through all those little holes and smooth it over the top. And then you will have something that looks like that. So you've got that gorgeous element. Let me just pop this to one side. That gorgeous kind of 3D kind of texture, and when that dries, it will look beautiful. So hopefully you can see that. Obviously it's still wet, so it's going to pick up a little bit of the light. But once you've done that, you obviously want to let it dry for a little bit, and then it can be the background to your frame. So I have taken the stencil that we just did, and what I did then is I took a plain piece of paper and a circle die cut, and I cut a hole through that. So the same like size as your frame basically, and that's going to be able to kind of see through to whatever you're going to put underneath. So your stencil and your images, and then your gorgeous little lobster and elements as well. So let me just grab this just to kind of give you an idea. Obviously it's still drying and it's still on its base, but that will just sit over the top, and it's going to cover all of those imperfections, and you're just going to get that gorgeous pattern through there. So it's going to be kind of an aperture or a window into the middle of our frame. And then obviously you just want to take your images and obviously all those other elements that I mentioned before. I've just stuck those behind and in front using foam tape or a little bit of glue, and used a few layers of foam tape on some of the images as well to make them really pop. But that is a really cute way of kind of commemorating a holiday or a vacation as well. So that is a couple using mostly die cuts and stencils. Now, the other ones I wanted to show you are a little bit more unusual, and that's the beauty of this, that you can play around and make all sorts of different things with just this one kind of collection. So I'm going to bring back my stencil and stamp tool. I'm going to take off my one that is still drying. I'm going to place that to one side. There we go. So peel that off. And then I'm going to do a little bit of stamping. So we can bring back our stamp plates. And I'm going to show you guys a mixture. So you can use the regular stencil and stamp plate, or you can use the brand new stamp and spin plate. So two different ways you can do this. And I'm going to make some of these gorgeous little bags. How cute are these? With our lovely stamp set from that nautical collection, as well as these really fun coasters. Now, hopefully you can see that, but it's using the same kind of stamps and creating a design for these coasters. So again, kind of collecting all of your memories. I think these would be really cute for like shells or collecting little bits on your holiday as well. So I think they're just really, really super cute. So let's grab one of the bags. Now I'm just using like plain cotton, white cotton, like little drawstring bags. Don't need to be anything special, guys. You can get these online, super cheap, but they're a really nice way. You can kind of, like I say, have your shells in there. You could have little accessories in there, whatever. Let's do something with the stamp and spin first to show you guys. So let's attach that stamp and spin section, and we want to make sure that the bag is pretty much central to our bag, but we can test that and everything as well. So I'm going to use the stamp set in the collection, going through my designs here. I think it's a bag. There we go. I have got this one in packaging as well, so I will show you guys. So this is the stamp collection. So this has got some really nice, gorgeous motifs in there, all hand-drawn by the amazing Lisa Jones as well. So you know they're going to be good, guys. And I'm going to take some of these elements. They're actually designed to work with our stamp and spin as well. So some of these like seaweed elements have got little curves in them, so they'll work perfectly for this. Lisa's really thought out everything when it comes to this stamp set. And because we're printing on fabric, I'm not going to use the distress inks. What I'm going to use is archival waterproof inks. You don't have to use this particular brand, just waterproof inks are the way to go, basically. So some of these curved sections, I'm going to try and replicate this little bag that we've got here. And I'm just going to take that and make sure it can go all the way around. Yeah, it looks like it can. I'm going to catch all the sides. And then I'm going to take our ink, make sure it's picked up, and ink that up and stamp it down. Now, because we are inking and stamping fabric, you want to make sure that you're pressing really firm, and it's going to take you probably at least a couple of goes on every stamp to get it really nice and clean. Again, inking that up, and I'm going to ink that up and stamp until we've done the whole circle. There we go. I've got my last one to complete my circle, and you can see how we've got that full circle and it's stamped really well. So you can then go in and do the same with your little starfish, and then there's other elements as well, like the shell for the center. You can still use the stamp and spin for regular stamping if you wanted to, particularly for like little bits like this, but that stamps really, really well on these kind of cotton bags. But you could do bigger ones, makeup bags, anything like that. But then you can also do little patterns as well. So you don't have to stick to the circle design. You can do other fun designs and literally pop your sentiment on there. I've got one with the gorgeous little seahorse in the stamp section, which is really nice. And then I've got some of the seaweeds at the bottom. And then what I've also done is I've even used the stencil and just stenciled the bottom of the bag as well. So you can use the stencil on fabric as well. Again, using the archival inks, they don't blend as well. Oh, sorry. They don't blend as well as your distress inks, but you do want it to be waterproof and permanent. So it will take a little bit of blending, but you can also get that effect as well. So that's just a few different ideas to stamp onto your bags for your shell collecting or whatever you're doing. And then last but not least, I'm going to show you guys how to make those coasters. Now, again, you can also use the stamp and spin and you can create a kind of circle design, particularly if you've got those round coasters. But I'm just going to do it on the regular stamp plate because I just want like a pattern almost, just a random design. So let's grab one of my coasters. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use some stencil film. So I'll just grab that as well. So I'm not stamping directly onto the acrylic. You can probably do that, but it won't be quite as even because it is a raised section, even higher than kind of those fabric sections that we've put on there. So it's not going to stamp perfectly. So I find the best way to do this is to take some of our stencil film and stamp onto that and then attach that to the back of our coaster. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take our coaster and I'm going to draw around it with a pencil or a pen, just so I know where I want my design to be, basically. And then I'm going to arrange my stamps from that same stamp collection. And you can kind of just arrange these all together until you're happy. You want them quite close as well because I'm going to then die cut this, and the die cut needs to be slightly smaller than the actual coaster to make sure it fits perfectly. So you might not get the end edges almost in there. So make sure everything's really nice and compact, basically. So really, and you can do this all in one pass, but like pretty much, I'm going to do this all in one stamp. So it's not super time consuming or fiddly really. There we go. I think I'm pretty happy with that. So once you've got all your stamps laid out, just going to take our stamp plate, make sure it's on the smooth side, so it's going to pick up all your stamps. I'm going to pick them all up like so, make sure they're nice and secure. And then I'm going to take it off, turn it around, and I'm going to ink up the stamps. Now again, I'm going to use those archival inks just because they are the waterproof version, so it's going to stay put. And I'm going to ink up everything directly on, and I'm going to mix and match the colours. Like, I don't want everything to be the same colour. Don't worry if it kind of blends into one another, you know, it's the beauty of it really. So and you can even blend colours. So I'm taking like the lighter orange with the red, and almost like blending them in together as well to get like a two-tone effect, which you can totally do. Now you might need to re-ink these maybe twice to get a full clean stamp, but hopefully just the once should be fine. Because there's no texture with the stencil film. It's flat but like paper, and it stamps really well. So you place that on. Nice and firm. Make sure you've pressed everything in. You might have like missed just ever so slightly some sections, so we can go back in. Like I've got a bit on the shell up there, but I think I've pretty much got it all. So let's move my inks off to one side. Get rid of that. And then I can peel this off. And then I'm going to leave that to dry. And once that's dry, you can literally take your circle framelit, stick it over the top. Actually, I'll see if I can get away with cutting it now really quickly for you. It might smudge a little bit because you do really need it to dry before you do it, because the stencil film is a little bit more sleeker than paper, obviously, so it's going to take a little bit longer to dry. Where's my platform? Place that on there. We've got that guide where we drew, so we know exactly where that circle needs to go. It's going to fit perfectly inside. And then we've got that circle. So I've got my poster over here, and that is literally going to sit underneath. Now that's quite important. It needs to go underneath, because bear in mind, if you're going to put a glass or a mug or anything on top of that, you don't want the stencil film to be on top, because it's just going to ruin the stencil film. It's going to ruin your design. So make sure you're putting it underneath. And the way I like to attach it is just with some spray adhesive, spray mount, like not a repositionable one. You want to make sure that it's going to stay put. And then I just spray that once it's dry, again, very important, and stick that underneath, and then you've got your coaster. You could even pop a couple of little divots, like bumps underneath to make it raised and make sure it's nice and even and flat. But I've got, obviously, the design, similar design that we've done here, but then I've also done one with our stamp and spin as well. So you can also do that with your round coaster. You can also get hexagon coasters, square coasters, whatever you want. They're literally just acrylic, plastic, like laser cut basically, and you can get these online for super cheap. But I just think they're really, really cute. So I think that is all of my techniques. I know it was quite a lot, but hopefully you can mix and match them and use them in different ways. But hopefully that gave you some really fun ideas, some slightly out of the box ideas as well, for when you come back off for your next holiday or vacation, that you can use some of these, and use these stamps and the dies and the stencil to create some fun kind of under the sea nautical projects, and particularly highlight some of those photos, some of those gorgeous holiday photos that I know you're all going to take, so you can actually see them from a day to day. If you're interested in any of the dies and the stencils and the stamps that I've shown you, they're all available on the Sizzix website, so go and check them out. Like I said at the beginning, I know Pete's done an overview, so if you want to see everything kind of in depth, including the flower collection, that will be on our YouTube and all our socials as well. And if you make anything that I've shown you today, or any projects using the nautical collection or the summer collection, or anything, then please share it with us. We love to see what you guys have been creating, and yeah, let's just inspire each other to have a really gorgeous crafty summer. So that is it from me today, guys. Thank you so much for joining me. I will see you in the next one, but until then, stay safe and keep crafting. Thanks, bye.